retribution. Oh yeah, we want 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 retribution.
What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday, and welcome to another episode of Primos, Chidos. I am your host, Jules, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brandon. How you guys doing? Say hi. Say what's up.
I'm doing pretty good. Especially, we got to give a quick acknowledgement. What day is it today? Brandon, what day is it today?
It's the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah, why is it, bro? Why is it? Let me see if you know your. Let me
Because
see.
most of many countries declared independence from Spain today.
Okay, give me the specific ones too. No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
Mexico and Central America. That's all I know.
Is it Mexico?
Mexico, Guatemala.
And
I don't know.
I know it's some of Central America today, tomorrow, and I think the 18th.
But yeah, bro, go ahead. Do you
So-
feel like extra strength right now?
No.
I feel like you're glowing, bro. You're
No.
literally glowing in my
so
eyes.
it's Mexican Independence Day today. Like-
Honestly, I don't know, bro.
I
I
honestly
honestly don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, where do I
interesting.
live? Where do I live? I live in the U.S. of A, bro.
You could take the lion out of the jungle.
but you can't take the jungle out of the line.
I
Exactly.
think,
supposed
I
to
think
know.
it's tomorrow, no?
You
Yeah.
think or you know?
Let me call my mom.
All right, do it right now on the show.
I can't. I'm using my phone already.
Oh
yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Can I use your phone to call my mom?
She's gonna be like, "Who is this?"
So what are we talking about today, guys?
So the Queen died last time during the show.
Rip.
Oh no, the Queen. She meant so much to us Americans. You know.
Yeah.
You said you had some facts, right?
Well, I mean, I remember in high. What do you know about the Queen? Do you know like what do you know about her?
She was old.
Well, I mean,
she
yeah.
came from an incestuous family.
Yeah.
And she had a golden Wii.
Did she actually?
Yeah, did you see that?
She
Like,
had
you know the
golden
Nintendo Wii, the
Yeah,
the old one.
Yeah.
She had one that was made out of 24 karat gold that was gifted to her. I think either by an artist or by Nintendo.
She was a gamer.
I guess so. Yeah, I
She
guess even in your old age, you know.
She played
Interesting.
baseball. The Wii Sports, baseball or bowling.
I think she played the Wii Sports. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, that's kind of funny.
Was that in your facts,
Fun
bro?
fact?
Did
No,
I?
it wasn't. It
Oh,
wasn't.
well,
no.
fun fact, bro. See, I know a lot.
No, yeah, I remember in high school, the only thing I had learned is my teacher had said that she doesn't have any power. She's just a glorified,
Puppet.
not puppet. What do you call it? She's a glorified, she's a tourist attraction. That's all she is.
Or like a monument.
Yeah, like she's just kind of like the Royals are just like people just come to see them because it's like, oh, the Royals, you know. There's nothing
Mhm.
nothing other than that. I didn't know she actually like has power. Like
Oh, she
actually-
does.
She does?
Yeah, she actually has power. Like she actually has like, I mean, I was watching some videos and the way they kind of say it, they all kind of are like, well, she doesn't. I don't know. In my opinion, I'm like, that sounds.
All right,
pretty
let me hear it.
powerful.
Let me hear it.
So, did you know she's immune to the law in the UK?
In what sense?
Like she couldn't do anything that breaks the law. She's above the law. Like she's above.
Really?
She could do anything and she would be fine.
Like even murder.
Yeah, she's above.
Are you
the law.
serious?
Yeah, she's above the law. She's above the law.
What?
Yeah.
What
She's
are your
immune
wait,
to the-
wait, wait? What are you guys' thoughts on that? 'Cause
That's
it-
pretty crazy.
Because I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about like I was like, bro, like imagine how crazy it'd be if the president was above the law. But then I kind of laughed to myself because obviously, even though he's not supposed to be,
He's a kind
obviously the president, like all our presidents, have broken the law.
Mhm.
Like I mean,
Yeah.
even as a regular citizen, you break the law.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be so like blatant about it that the queen can like be above the law, that's pretty fucked up.
Well, because she's the queen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like she's also
Monarch,
like
right?
she's also like she has diplomatic immunity, which means she's immune to the law anywhere, like on Earth.
Hey, look, shout out to
What?
Patty with the Fatty, bro. She even murdered the real queen, Diana, SMH.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. Thoughts on that?
The Diana thing?
That
Yeah.
every
No, what were you gonna
Yeah.
say? What were you gonna say?
I thought he was talking about the question.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, she has diplomatic immunity, so she could go anywhere on Earth and commit any crime, and she'd be fine.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's pretty powerful already, right? Like,
Yeah.
She's also she was the biggest landowner in all of the world. She owned
What
like
did she own?
6.6 billion acres, which is a lot.
Wait, so is that like specifically her ownership, or is that like the country's ownership?
I didn't go too much into it, but it
Mhm.
just says she's the biggest landowner ever. Which
Damn.
now her family kind of inherited that.
Yeah.
She can also theoretically arrest anyone she wants and take their property for the crown.
Really?
Yeah, we have an amendment against that, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because technically the people of the UK are not citizens; they're technically her subjects.
Really?
Yeah, interesting already, right?
hmm
Oh, another thing is like, so they were talking about in this video.
Bro, and British people swear they're so much better than Americans.
Apparently, she's really popular though. Like a lot of people love her over there, and
Oh,
that's
really?
what they say is like where her real power comes from is because she's really loved over there.
Mm.
Really?
And so did you know she also technically picks the prime minister?
How?
It's her. She can pick the prime. It's her power to pick the prime minister. But these days, she only picks who the people pick. So like the people.
Oh, I get you.
So the people vote and they'll be like, oh, well, this is who we want for this prime minister.
Mhm.
And just to stay in like the people's good graces, she'll kind of just be like, okay, and like sign that. But if she theoretically wanted to go rogue and be like, you know what, I want to be like queen, she could dissolve the British government and pick whoever she wanted as prime
Whoa.
minister. Yeah,
What?
she could technically do that. Yeah.
So they do have a lot of power then.
Right? Right? That's-
I thought they
right?
did it.
No, yeah. She also has this thing where she has to consent to anything that like involving her in the government. Like this happened in 1999 where the government tried to like pass a bill where they wouldn't need her consent to like strike to do strikes in Iraq in 1999. And because they need her consent to even talk about a bill, she like vetoed it. She said you can't talk about that, like because she has the power to declare war. She's so the military of of Britain or the UK or whatever, they swore allegiance to her. They're called Her Majesty's Armed Forces, which means she's the head of the military. So theoretically, again, she could go rogue and like take over, but she wouldn't. But
Yeah.
like theoretically, right? That's a
Yeah.
lot of power.
But she wouldn't, especially because she's dead.
Well, yeah, well, yeah.
Well, now
but
there's a what? There's a king.
there's a King Charles.
There's a king now.
Yeah, so she can technically also like launch a nuke, or
What?
it's just that the parliament or like the what's it called, the prime minister would do so on her behalf. Like, so yeah, pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, and especially because I mean, here we grew up and they're like they have no power. Do you think when people say that they mean that like they have no power because just like the
Well, they were just
citizens over there wouldn't agree with
well,
whatever
they were
decision
just
they made?
saying that like she's very strategic, or she was very strategic, that she would kind of like not use her power, or like that's what the monarchy kind of became, is where they didn't use their power just to kind of stay under the radar, so
Mhm.
that like people don't like, hey, what the hell, why do we have a king and a queen? Like, we don't want
Mhm.
that. So like to kind of stay in the people's good graces, she kind of like they kind of like allow these things to kind of go
Mhm.
on, which is kind of interesting, because it's like, I mean, maybe she doesn't necessarily like outright control things, but I mean, come on, she could probably like whisper in somebody's ear or say like, hey, I don't really like that
Do you think
law,
she
or-
did? Do you think
Come on, of course.
I did.
She probably did.
she came from? Let's say she was 96, right? So what year does that mean she was born in?
Like the 20s, right? 1927.
So
or
in,
something
in
like
her
that.
prime, in a prime of like political party, was it even worse back in the day? Like, because I imagine if she's always had this power in times of like World War II, when like there, especially in Europe, when there was a lot of like
Yeah.
turmoil over there, Germany
Yeah.
was fucking up everybody.
Yeah.
Was she a Nazi sympathizer? Because I keep seeing these pictures
Of her shaking hands with Hitler.
Yeah, is that real?
Let's Google it.
Yeah,
Let's
Julie, go ahead and Google.
When did she become queen though?
Let's Google it. We got the
Okay.
most.
Use your phone too if you
Oh,
want to.
yeah,
That way,
yeah,
do
yeah.
it
What
at
are
the same
you
time.
Googling, Julie?
I'm googling when did she become queen.
Was the queen okay? Was the queen a Nazi?
1952. February 6, 1952 is when she became queen.
So after World War II.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what was the other one?
Was the queen a Nazi sympathizer? I mean, it doesn't really outright say. Did the Duke of plot?
She was 25 years old when she took the crown.
Yeah,
in
I think she's the
1952.
longest serving monarch. Like,
So like, does like the British Empire, like this whole like kingman monarchy, like does it go on forever?
what do you mean?
Like how her successor is her son, right? Prince
Yeah,
Charles.
technically, yeah.
So it just keeps going on forever.
Yeah, technically.
Mhm.
I mean, unless like they suddenly are like, you know what, we don't really.
Are they? Because I imagine they haven't actually used the power that they're given in like so long. To me, it kind of reminds me as though it's like you know how the Kardashians are really popular here in the United States.
Yeah, they're kind of like the Kardashians.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're kind of like pop figures or like
Mhm.
celebrities. Or
Yeah.
I saw this meme that said like the British, she's British, right? Or
Yeah.
England's queen died at 96, but our American's queen died at 98, I think, Betty White.
Did you know she's technically the queen of like Australia and Canada too?
How?
I think they swore like allegiance to her. I think I didn't go too deep into it because I was reading like her powers,
Mhm.
but I think Australia's like their armed forces swore like allegiance to her, so she's
Mhm.
technically their queen too. I think it's called the
Mm.
Commonwealth or something like that, where she's their queen. She's like the queen of a few other countries, technically.
But
Is it-
like,
That's wild.
But like, I mean, like, regardless, that seems like power to me. Like when from I was always under the impression she
That-
had absolutely no power. Like she was literally, as they said, was just a like.
but what's the point of all that power if you never use it, right?
I mean, it's kind of like she can use it. She's just like, I don't need to right
So
now. Or
nobody-
they don't need to.
So there's no one that like regulates them in a way.
It's more like it's more
they're
like
the top. They
Yeah,
have,
they're
like,
the top of the food chain?
Yeah.
she's technically the top of the food chain. Because like
What?
technically she could go rogue at any moment, or the royals could go rogue at any moment. Because I mean they control the armed forces, they control
Mhm.
the military.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when Trump tried to do that. Like
When
technically
when
they could
Trump
do that.
literally tried to
Yeah.
become king.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She can't like make laws either, but she has to sign them
Dude,
to
you
like
know,
make them law.
like quick side note, you know what my cousin told me? You
What?
know how they're having the midterm elections soon, like here in the United States? Bro, apparently like Trump's like popularity is still like extremely
good.
high.
Yeah.
And that like if he were to run again for presidency in the next run, there's a good chance he could win again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they said that the Biden administration is actually fully aware of it, and that the whole reason they passed the student loan forgiveness is so they can gain the votes of like the younger generation, because they're pretty confident that if Trump runs as of right now, he'd actually win,
Oh, yeah.
and he'd become the first president to
do that.
to lose
And then
the
win
election
again?
and then run again because he only had one term and
And win.
win. Yeah. He was telling us all about it yesterday. Because he's like super into like politics and looking out, mainly because it affects the market, right? He's more looking at the monetary value of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, like, are you ready to have King Trump as your
King
as
Trump.
president
King
again?
Trump.
Unbelievable.
Well, have you seen the
Bruh.
videos? Like, he still has
No, yeah.
a lot
He
of the
does have a lot of-
Republicans
he does
are
have a-
still doing things in favor of him.
Yeah.
To me, what really surprises me is that I'm surprised us as Americans, as citizens, we haven't like kind of stood up and understood how our system is being manipulated by Donald Trump. And I don't mean to sound like oh my god, you're such a liberal, you're such like a fucking like you're so scared of this guy, like you're making him out, you're pointing all your problems at this guy.
Yeah.
But like to me, it blows my mind that there's actively politicians right now in the Republic who still actively see Trump as their president and see and make decisions based on his behalf. Because we talk about how the Queen, right? She doesn't have power, but you look
Yeah.
at somebody who's Trump, who's literally not the president of the United States anymore.
Yeah.
But yet people who are in power are doing things on his behalf.
Yeah.
I mean, like in that way, when you compare it to the Queen, it's almost like America has a king right now,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And it's scary because we talk about on the show, like we had a whole episode dedicated to January 6th and how people overlook it as just being this time where the Americans, like especially the right wing, kind of lost their mind and invaded the Capitol. But we don't look at it through like an objective lens of it, that it was literally a president trying to take over the government, right?
Yeah.
It was trying to band all these people together to kill all people, because it was what all the legislative branch and then the judicial branch, right? Everybody was there. If that had happened, then yeah, we would have had a king, bro. Have King Trump.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
bro. Wild.
But I mean, another interesting fact is she owns all whales and dolphins and sturgeons.
She owns
Three-
them.
3 miles off the shore, like in the waters of the UK, like up to 3 miles out. Any whales or like dolphins or sturgeon, which are fish, she owns them.
How does she own them?
It's just, I think it goes back to like the 1300s, where like they made a lot that the king, queen, whatever has like, she owns them, like they're hers. Like let's
Like
say,
her pets.
I don't know. It just says like she owns them. Like so, like let's say like a whale washes up on the beach, she gets first dibs.
I don't know. I
Bro.
can't.
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I
This is
didn't.
wild to
Again,
me.
That's all imaginary though. Like
I-
she doesn't own that. She doesn't own whales
well,
and
I
seals.
mean, it's more like because it's like it's technically in law and it never like dissolved, like it never went away. She
Mhm.
still has that like power. So like, let's say a whale washed up on the beach. Again, she has first dibs.
Well, Charles has it now, right?
Well, yeah,
King
he
Charles
has first
it
dibs.
right now.
I guess it's because like they used to use whales for like oil and stuff like that. So it's like if the
What do you think about the like societal implications of like having a woman in power, right? Because Queen Elizabeth's a woman, right? What do you think it says now to have a king? Have you even seen? There's even been jokes of like having a guy as a queen feels kind of weird because that now it's Prince
well,
Charles.
he's King Charles the Third, right?
I mean, Julie,
so.
you as a woman, would you see the queen as a feminist icon? Because she's the long. If you look at him, he said, well, you said it was the longest reigning monarch.
Mhm.
I think so, right?
Would you look at the queen as somebody who represents women in power?
Wasn't she rated Forbes most or somebody's most powerful woman?
Yeah, because if you look at it,
But,
she
yeah.
I mean, she technically is.
She is, yeah.
to have power when you're 25 and then to lose it when you're 96, especially in that era in the 1952 when women were only meant to like serve their husband and be the housewife.
You know, you
You-
know, you know what I think, bro? I think it must be so trippy to be that powerful and like just that big of a person and die. Like just to go through death because like if you think about it, she's probably like, man, all this power, I'm the queen and still gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why rich people like some people say they're so obsessed with living forever, right?
So did she actually shake hands with Hitler? Because that's pretty crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, we gotta look this
I
up.
mean, not even as like a.
Just look up the Queen and Hitler, and I guarantee you, if it's true, it'll come up right.
But
there.
even like objectively, that's pretty crazy. Like you shook hands with that guy, like because like Hitler almost seems like a
well,
a
I mean,
myth, like
a myth, right? Because
I
that's
know-
yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been seeing how people have been like kind of like bashing on her about like all the things that she did. I know that there was this one post that was like, at least on my end of Instagram, that kept like circulating, of people saying like, because like for the most part, like she stole people's like land or like she was,
she was a big supporter of colonialism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like there was, I don't know, did you guys see that? Like, did you guys see the post about it? Like
When
people
she passed
saying-
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Because you know how people were like saying also to like respect the dead and all that stuff of like, because it's kind of like, should you respect?
Should you respect the dead?
Yeah.
I personally always think that it's like I always find it weird when people dance on anybody's grave, just because I just think it's like weird.
Mhm.
Like I just think it's bad juju, and I think
Yeah.
it's weird.
But do you?
But
mean that-
I get why people dance on her grave. Like I'm not like you shouldn't do that, but I just mean that's you know what I mean. Like
But
that's
do you
just-
mean that for everybody? Do you mean that for like? Because
Yeah, I think so. Because it's like
Even
but then
people who
but then
are
people go like, oh,
bad.
what about Hitler? And I'm like, well, come on, I don't know. 'Cause
But I mean, it's a valid thing to bring up because it's like you look at bad people, right? Like let's say who's someone, bro? Did you see R. Kelly got indicted of 16 federal counts over his like
wow,
his trial
Really?
today? Yeah,
wow.
it's I saw it the first thing I saw, but I was gonna say someone like that, right?
Mhm.
If he passes away and then the victims are like, yeah, hooray, like he was a
No,
horrible
yeah,
guy.
I don't fault them for that at all. I think that's I this is just to each his own, you know.
Mhm,
Yeah.
But to me personally, I'm always like, he's dead, that's it.
mhm.
Like they're dead, that's whatever's. It's they're
Yeah,
dead.
I had like the trippiest like whiplash recently because I got high and I started thinking about I saw this post that said do you ever realize that everybody at one point was a baby, right? So it's obviously everybody was a baby at one point in
Yeah.
their life.
Mhm.
But I really started thinking about it like super deeply, and the first person I thought of was my sister.
Yeah,
And I thought about how like, damn, yeah, my sister was a baby, especially now because I hang out so much with my nephew.
yeah.
I'm like, at one point we were all this age, and it got me kind of emotional because I thought about how like when we're all younger, like we're all kind of this omni like cell that can be shaped into anything, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
And some people get abused and live a horrible life and turn into a horrible person. Specifically R. Kelly, right? I brought up R. Kelly. If you look into his past, he was abused, he was sexually abused, like
Mm.
and actively in his own home by the own people that he knows.
Yeah.
And then he grew up to do that to like other people.
Yeah.
And it's like what he did is still wrong.
Yeah.
But a part of you, when you look at people as children, you feel kind of bad for them.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
people don't just become evil. I don't think people are just born that way. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
people are fucked up. I mean, have you ever looked at what's that? The Mexican serial killer?
Richard Ramirez.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the pictures of when he's like a young kid and his parents would like dress him up in dresses and then
Oh,
take pictures of
yeah.
him to like
Mhm.
make fun of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of these people who are fucked up in the head are because they got basically messed up by their parents.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or like an elder figure.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you look at it as like the objectivity of being evil, right?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because then at one point, is anybody responsible for anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause it's
the-
like you have to make that choice, right? Because
I was
it's
trying to
like,
remember who was it where they were like trying to. Oh, I think it was when one of the shootings happened, and they were like, "Oh, blame the mom because she's the one who was mistreating him,
The
and that's why it
the
led him
Uvalde
to-"
one?
I think so. I can't remember which
I
one
think
it
it
was.
is that one.
dude,
yeah.
did you hear that? Like, he nobody would take him for like, so his body was like for like 30 days or something. No, like morgue or anything would take him.
Are you
Like,
serious?
yeah, nobody like no morgue for like miles would take him.
Damn.
No more, nothing would take
Damn,
him.
even in death.
Yeah.
Like
No, but yeah, so like going back to that where people say like, is it like should you respect the dead? I
Mhm.
think it's just I don't know. Maybe it's like a cultural thing, and it's because maybe we went to Catholic school that it's kind of like
It-
it's
I-
it's
it's a
wired in our
it's a
brain.
thing that's in your
Yeah.
head. But
I feel like
Usually.
I understand it of like how it can be conflicting because it's kind of like how when people always say like when they would do it to like Michael Jackson and they're like he's not here to defend himself kind of thing.
yeah,
That's the
It's
biggest
kind of like
example I
those
think of.
things, right?
yeah,
But I think it is like the same thing of like your morals and how you grew up on it and
Yeah.
like because for us, right, culturally, it's like we respect the dead and we celebrate it, right?
Dia de los
And it's
Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos, like we celebrate that, but it's like but then you see that they were also like not maybe the best person to our
no,
culture,
yeah,
right?
no, yeah, definitely. It's just like
Yeah.
no, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's most of what it is because I remember growing up and hearing like you're just not supposed to speak bad about dead people. Like it's just
Yeah,
not, you know.
yeah.
But like
I mean, remember Shaq? He said that famously he never wants to make a documentary about his run in the Lakers because
But I think it's a little different when it's like it's something like with Kobe, right? Where it's like it's
Oh, it
not
was a
that Kobe
tragedy?
was a bad person, or it's more like he just can't tell his side, you know. But
Mhm.
when it comes to people like Hitler or someone like who people who
I didn't know
people
it was a
think
video.
who people think or like the Queen who people think is really bad, or somebody
Mhm.
who people think is objectively really bad. I think it's different, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. I mean, just personally, I always get like a weird feeling whenever like
People dance on people's graves,
I mean, not people. I
piss
just
on people's graves.
just the thought of me doing that feels weird.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Pissing on anybody's grave.
Mhm.
And it's not like I don't know that I'm superstitious in the way that like, they're gonna haunt me. It's just more like it's just more like
It's just like bad kind of like bad vibes.
it just
getting
feels
into
like
yourself.
well, he's dead. Like it's not even like you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
that's not my realm anymore.
I think kind of what you're getting at is what I feel sometimes is sometimes when you spread hate or you kind of spread malicious intent, it kind of consumes you in
Yeah.
the sense of like it's very easy to when you're angry and then when you're aggressive for that to overtake a lot of your decisions and the way you think, right?
The thing I think is I think I prefer or like not prefer, but when people are like, he's gone, I just won't speak his name. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? When they
I just
when
won't
people
speak
are,
his name.
like when people are like, nah, like
I don't know. I don't like that because I think you can live forever as long as people remember you. But I guess if they're a bad person, right?
No,
that's the best way,
no, that's
right?
why if you're
Erase
like
them.
I won't, I just don't want to talk about him. I feel like,
People
I don't
call
know.
that the second death, dude. Your first death is when you actually die.
I've seen Coco. I've seen Coco.
And then,
I've
yeah.
seen Coco.
Hey, bro, racially motivated. How did you know?
Nah,
I didn't
never.
talk. I didn't talk about that.
I don't know. I think it's a complex. Maybe when I'm older, I'll have a different.
You'll get it
opinion.
when we're all old
Yeah.
and gray,
Yeah.
and then some of the people we know pass away, and we're like, damn.
But anyways, back
Nah,
to
I can't find anything.
well,
on
there's
it.
there's that
there's just-
picture. There's the
So
picture.
is this one?
Go down.
So is this
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says Edward and his wife Wallenstons met
Mm.
Adolf Hitler 2 years before World War II broke out.
Wait. So is that the queen? That's not the queen, is it?
He said that the newspaper has decided to publish the story because it was of great public importance and involvement of Prince Edward gave it historical significance.
Prince.
No,
Ed-
yeah, it's a real picture, yeah, but it's before Hitler kind of, I guess, went out of
when
war.
well, because Hitler, people don't remember this. Hitler was on Time magazine. He was like the what was he voted like man of the year or something?
Really?
Yeah, look that up.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, I mean,
because at first he did like good shit, right? Like that's
Yeah.
how he took him out of like
but I mean, because what's weird about Hitler is that he gained power not just because like he took over people's like minds and he ruled with an iron fist. He ruled because a lot of the ideas that he had, a lot of people agreed with,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
That's why a lot of
He-
people compare it to Trump,
He was-
right? Because it's just a natural way of gaining a lot of power. It's just
Oh,
people
yeah.
agree with what you're saying.
It says he was named Times Man of the Year in 1938. I think that's the number. small.
Damn.
Can't see.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
well,
then
yeah.
there's-
I mean, he was
yeah.
people thought he was really cool at first.
And then there was this like the Sun's room.
Secret 1933 film shows Edward the Seventh teaching this Nazi salute to the Queen.
Isn't that the 8th?
5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Edward the Eighth teaching this Nazi salute to the Queen.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's well, because I'm pretty sure that's probably before again the like.
What are
Which
okay,
one?
okay.
Well,
Well, let me
which one
paint
is
a scenario. What are you a fan of right now?
What am I a fan
Yeah,
of?
anything, literally anything. Give me something that you're a fan of. Julie, you too. Give me a fan of. Likely a public or popular figure.
Let's just go with Julie. Julie likes
Julie,
Bad,
yeah,
Julie likes
I'm a
Bad
big
Bunny.
fan of Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Bad
Okay.
Bunny.
Okay. This is gonna
Let's
be a
just
funny
say- let's just
example.
say that.
This is
Let's
gonna be a
just say
funny
that.
example. Let's say Bad Bunny, if 10 years from now, he
Mhm.
has such a big following.
He committed a genocide.
No. Let me
Right.
finish. Like, he uses his power to basically promote some like Andrew Tate shit, right? Like
Okay.
he promotes misogyny and he
Ah,
promotes like
okay.
men should own women, right? Men should do this, and a lot of people are for it. And there's even pick me women who are like, yeah, hell yeah, like Bad Bunny's right, like Mr. Sexy, if he wants, he's right. How can he be
Do
wrong,
they call
right?
him that?
Yeah, sure. In this scenario,
Oh, I
right?
thought like that was a real.
They
thing.
No,
call-
that's not a real
Oh.
thing. No. Okay,
The
let's say,
the
but let's say
women-
that happens in 10 years, right? He starts
Uh-huh.
saying that.
Okay.
Then 5 years even further, he gains like this big following of just like people who abuse people who wreck people who are just problematic,
Mhm.
and like he becomes a symbol for everything that's wrong with the time at the time, and then whatever, he has his fall from grace. And fast forward 20 years, Bad Bunny's only ever remembered for the bad things. And then there's pictures of you at a Bad Bunny concert and pictures of you wearing Bad Bunny merch.
Mm.
And people say you're a shitty person. But during the time, you never supported Bad Bunny when he was a misogynist, when he was promoting that men should own women. You
Uh-huh.
never supported that. Does
Uh-huh.
that make you a bad person?
Mm.
Because you didn't know.
Yeah.
You're ignorant. Does that make the Queen a bad person for hanging out with Hitler before he committed a genocide?
I don't
Or are you
know.
like there should have been at least some sign?
I feel like well, because I don't know, Hitler is pretty crazy. I don't know. I just think like objectively, that's got to be so weird.
I
Like,
feel-
nobody ever did like an interview with her. Like, what was it like to meet that guy? Like, what was he like?
I feel like I don't know, because I feel like for them they probably had the same.
You're like, I don't know. I
They
like
probably
Bad
had a
Bunny
lot. Of,
so much.
I feel like no. I feel like for them they probably had a lot in common. You know, I don't know.
They had a
I-
lot in common.
Sheesh. If you say so.
Because I don't know. I feel like if, especially with like a lot of people say that of her taking over like other different black and brown communities, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. Also, like I don't know. It's just like it's. I feel like it's super complicated. And in that scenario, I feel like that's weird. I would I would say, no, just because I didn't know this food was gonna go AWOL or some shit or like just go crazy on it. So like how was I supposed to know Bad Bunny was gonna be misogyny? The way he dresses doesn't make me think like he would go that direction.
I mean,
Um
I don't know. I don't know that much about Hitler like before but there's got to have been like some signs. Cuz I mean, it started slow, right? Where he was like, like those Jews.
Yeah.
And it was like okay. Everybody was like, okay.
It's like I don't like the way they're
No,
looking
what,
at me.
what was it? It was like at first they were like banned from stores or something, and then it was like it would be
Yeah, it was a slow
Oh,
build.
yeah.
it would be very slow. But I can't imagine it was like out of nowhere.
Well, even
Like-
even at
Well,
the
for the-
apex.
For the salute, it's just like
Misleading
did
and
he
dishonest. Let's
did
see.
he start it? Like how did
the
that
Nazi
happen?
salute? Oh, where they do the I don't
Well, I
know.
mean,
How did that
famously,
happen?
like the swastika that Hitler wore and that he
it
made
comes from
famous.
something else.
It comes from something else. Comes from
like
I-
Buddhist, right? It's
yeah,
supposed
it
to
means
mean
peace and like tranquility and like
Mhm.
love.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
yeah, but now it means something. Obviously, if you
Yeah.
got a I mean, if you got a swastika tattoo, I wouldn't be like, oh, like wow, you got
Peace
the
and
Buddhist,
love, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
no, come
you
on, like
know,
it means
yeah,
something completely different. Also, Vanessa C says,
I
call him Mr. Sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see some people call him Mr. Sexy. But so no, I think you're right. I think there was definitely some telling signs. I mean, I guess the Bad Bunny is a bad example. I guess using Andrew Tate himself would be a better
Well,
example.
because look, this is what it says, right? The queen mother then raised her arm in the style of a Nazi salute, and after glancing towards her mother, the queen mimicked the gesture.
oh, so she's kind of like, oh, I didn't know.
Well, because she's one of these, right? She's one of these.
she's the little girl.
She's this one or this one. This one.
I mean, this is from 19.
This is the mom.
This is from
Okay.
1933 though, and like contextually, given her background, I can't imagine she had a high opinion of the people that the Nazis also didn't have high opinions of.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
This is what 64. I mean, it wouldn't be for like almost another 30 years that
Mhm.
black people even get rights in
Mhm.
the United States. So I feel like I don't know. It's kind of weird.
You know, just moving on a little bit. Do you guys actually know about the Princess Diana thing? Because I honestly I'm not that educated
too
on it.
familiar with it, if I'm being honest, Julie.
I don't know that much either.
Wow,
honestly.
great segment, guys.
Let me see. Hold on.
I know.
No, it's
I
too
know.
it's
I
too
know. I
complex,
know a
Julie.
little bit about it in the sense of like why they didn't like her, or why she wasn't like in favor with them.
Why?
Because so the Charles, the king now, he was with the queen, who was the or queen consort is what they call her.
Mhm.
This one?
Camilla. Yeah, they were
Camilla?
like in love or something, and then I guess the royals didn't like her. They didn't like Camilla. They didn't think she was like worthy of taking the throne or something one
Mhm.
day. So they forced him to get with Diana, and he hated Diana. They like didn't like each other.
Uh-huh.
So they kind of just were miserable together.
Mhm.
But and yeah, that's why that's how I know that's why he was like always cheating on her, because like he didn't like her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Obviously because they forced her to be with him. Um
You know, I guess what always interested me, because like I said, I'm not super educated, but what interested me is the way she died, right?
car crash.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
but why she died in the car crash, right? She was being chased by paparazzi, right?
Yeah.
And they caused for her to crash, which people have a lot of suspicion about, right? Because there was no cameras, even though
The
there's-
paparazzi.
even though England is actually England is like one of the most like densely populated like camera places in the world. Like
Really?
they have a lot more surveillance than they do here in the United States. It's why a lot of people say that the United States is actually still like a freedom country, because we don't have as much surveillance as the UK and England does.
Yeah.
But that's why people say it's suspicious, because it's been that way for a long time.
Really?
And there was no footage at all of Diana dying in the car crash. A lot of people say that the only reason that exists, right, playing both sides,
Yeah.
is because it obviously got classified by the government, and
Yeah.
they didn't want it to show. But people say, well, why was it classified? You'd think something like that would be public, because
Yeah.
it's basically one of the royal family dying.
Yeah.
And people say it's because it shows you that the paparazzi wasn't actually paparazzi. It was people sent to assassinate her because the royal family didn't like her. And like the royal family has just like a lot of controversies like
Oh,
that.
oh.
I think she
But
did
why-
also a lot of things that like she
oh.
shook somebody's hand who had AIDS without a glove, which was like a big deal when she did it, because like
Mm.
everybody back then was like super like weird about that.
Mhm.
She also, I mean, I think she also was like her kids. What's her kids' names?
Oh, she was pregnant at the time, was she not?
I don't know.
That I don't know.
But like, what are the names of her kids? Edward and
I don't know.
Will-
Prince.
William?
Whatever.
I
but,
mean, I'm from America.
But,
you
like,
know?
she would-
William and Harry.
but she would like take them to like
I think.
McDonald's every now and again, which is like a big deal. And she sent them to like public school. which I think they're supposed to be homeschooled according to the royals or something like that.
So
But-
she was
but
just went against
the-
tradition a lot.
Yeah,
So that's why they kind of killed her.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Bro, you just said, is that why they killed her? Dude, it's not a fact.
I'm just,
It's not
I
a
just
fact that
want to
they killed
know,
him.
like, what would be the reasons as to like,
I don't
why
know.
they
It's
would
because
kill her, right?
the main thing I've seen is because she went against tradition. And then
Mm.
especially this time when she passed away, it's not like it's 2022 where
When
people
did
are
she
a lot
pass
more
away?
open to progression.
Which,
But
Um,
then that's why it's like, shouldn't it be a little more progressive going back? I know this is like a while back, but it's like there's a queen, right, that's in power. Like,
Mhm.
why is that not progressive enough? That you have a queen that's in power? Like, why is it so wrong that she was doing other things that were not like traditional, right? I don't know.
It's because I think my theory, right? You want to hear my theory of what it is?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because she became queen in 1952 and she was 25. So I think it's very easy to internally be misogynistic, especially if you
Mhm.
were raised in a very misogynistic time, right?
Mm.
If you talk about the patriarchy that most of like society is run by men.
Yeah.
So I think for her, especially because she grew up like that, it's very easy for her, even though she's a woman, she thinks like a man. So for her to see somebody like Diana to break tradition, it pisses her off
Yeah.
because it's like I couldn't do that. Even though I was a woman, I still had to abide by the same things that men do. I couldn't
Mhm.
be a woman. So
Um,
it pisses you off because I mean, even as a human, even as a us loyal subjects, right? Like when you see somebody, a lot of people's insecurity and the people who they hate on the most
mhm.
is because they see a version of themselves in them of all the things they don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's projection. We talk about it all the time on the show,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's why like she especially had kind of a hatred because she was kind of Diana was almost what the queen wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
maybe
Ish.
I don't know. I think it was also like well, because when I was doing research on the royals, they talk about how they're always doing polls to make sure that the people are like cool with them, because like it makes sense, right? Like if you like, yeah, she doesn't like actively use her power, or the
Mhm.
royals don't actively like use all the powers available to them, but like I get why they don't, and I get why they still want them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because like I feel like if they ever did start using them, people would be like, hey, wait a minute, like because it's
Mhm.
kind of a really outdated system to have a
Mhm.
monarchy.
Extremely.
So
dude.
I think for her to go out of tradition, it's not necessarily that it's like, she's breaking tradition. I think they more saw it as like a threat to like their power and all the things that they control. Because she probably controls so much more than they like. Because like, come on,
Then
that's
people see.
yeah, that's the like I mean, like celebrities and powerful people here control the government. Like, because it's like you're telling me the queen, like the actual queen, doesn't every now and again whisper in the prime minister's ear and say, hey, I don't like that law.
Yeah.
Or
Mm.
hey,
Bro,
I
do
don't
you want to hear something kind
What?
of trippy?
What?
I'm not gonna give away where I heard this from,
What?
but I have a very Julie. You know who I'm talking about. I have a very close.
You have a reliable source.
I have a very reliable source
yeah.
that hangs out with a lot of rich people, and he tells me that they actually like very regularly use fetuses to try and stay young in the sense of like they either Julie, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And they even told me they pulled up articles that showed actual proof of real millionaires talking about it. Like it's on, you could look it all up like right
No,
now.
yeah. There's a interview where Sandra Bullock goes on Ellen. She's like, you inject the blood of young people into you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Because you know how we talked about how like it must be so trippy. You mentioned this earlier in this episode. It must be so trippy to have that much power and then die at that age, right? And then you hear all these real life stories of people who are filthy fucking rich, and they're using fetuses like the blood of children. It sounds funny, right? That's why you don't want to believe.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but like it's true, dude. Like
Uh-huh.
and
I mean-
they are looking into that type of stuff, and it on a scientific level it makes sense because stem cells, right? Stem cells are can turn into anything you want. They turn into
Mhm.
heart cells, brain cells,
Yeah.
skin cells. So it makes a lot of sense. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because people say that the queen does that. The queen for decades had been eating like children.
Oh, she eats children.
But have you heard that you know the whole like myth of eating children stems from a very anti-Semitic like myth?
Does it?
Yeah, that back in the day, like Hitler, that's literally what they would say.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that Jewish people ate babies, because it's for a long time in human history. It's one of the like biggest accusations you could give to somebody, where everybody's like, yeah, I don't fuck with that,
Oh,
right?
like he eats babies.
Yeah, yeah. It's like one of the biggest things you could tell people, and people would be against it.
Like,
It's
what? I don't eat babies. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
but
I get what you're
its origins are very anti-Semitic. That it's mainly started as what people would say about Jewish people,
Interesting.
because they have a lot of in their religion, they have a lot of like practices that kind of like just talk about like babies and stuff like that. So it started off as this myth that Jewish
Oh,
people eat
really? I
babies.
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
Interesting.
I learned about it on shout out to Andrew Callahan. That's where I learned about it. Because conservatives say all that all the time about rich people, say that about Bill Gates and stuff. And he's like, did you know like it has like anti-Semitic, and obviously it's problematic because conservatives say that, and conservatives are often very anti-Semitic. You know?
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, the origin. And when you look deeply, a lot of things are racist.
Yeah.
Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, by the way.
Well,
Bruh.
we're gonna take a quick break for a few messages, but we'll be right back. So stay tuned.
Everybody near me, everything around me is inhabitable. To me, that's almost like a fate worse than death. I'm like in purgatory. I'm just waiting until what? I'm gonna live underground for 60 years.
That's also not true. Apparently, that the fallout radiation does not last as long as people say it does.
How long does it last?
I don't know, but I know it does, people say it doesn't last as long as years, like that. It's.
But what if it does last years?
Well, I don't
40
know.
years, 60 years? To
I
me,
feel like
it's like
I feel like I honestly I really don't care. Like I feel like it's not just living underground. It's just living. It's basically just living by yourself. Really, like isolated. That's really
I
it.
don't think so. I think they're two completely different.
Nah, I
things.
disagree. I feel like you wouldn't be stuck underground. You wouldn't be stuck underground. I mean, for a little bit, for like the first few weeks, maybe, but after that, you probably go outside.
I'd want to at least know that I went out. Like,
Let's see. Patty
cool.
with the fatty says, "What if Steve becomes a cult leader of?"
bro, what'd you do? Yeah, what'd you do if like you've lived for like 10 years underground?
So we're having some technical difficulties, but that's
Yeah.
okay. So we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. A lot of things are over dramatized. I feel like I'm sure the royals were bad people, but I don't know that they're
Ate
eating,
babies?
they're eating babies and like you know what I mean.
Bro, what if like in a scenario like let's say Primos Chidos blows up, and like I pull up to your house and I'm like, bro,
They do eat babies.
yeah, I tell you like straight up, like, bro, they do eat babies.
I'd be like, why would you tell me that? I don't want to know.
I'm like, well, it's too late, bro, because low key, I don't know, they look young.
I'd actually be really mad.
Did it make sense?
You be wait, go ahead.
I was like, but did it make sense what I said about how like they're doing abortion laws? But if it's true, like, why would they not want to like do that if they want to keep eating babies? I don't know. That's
Okay,
because
because
that's what I was
me
saying.
and my sister yesterday were talking about the scenario, right? Let's say it's true, right? Let's say rich people or whatever do eat babies, and it's because it legitimately does keep you young. My sister's like, but then why are they trying to ban abortion in all 50 states, right? And I told my sister that it's because if everybody can live forever, then eventually we'd run out of resources. But yeah,
I don't think that's why it is.
Bro, that's the whole reason why.
No, but like, isn't like okay? The actual conspiracy is that like it's kids and babies, and that it's adrenochrome, right? Like that's the like substance that they get from the babies and the kids,
Mhm.
and it's like in the blood, and like you have to like scare them, like it's like they're Pennywise or something.
No, you're thinking of something completely different.
No,
dude.
that's what it is. That's it. The people say it's adrenochrome. Look at
Really?
adrenochrome. Yeah,
How do you spell it?
I don't know.
then I really don't believe it. Then
Sound it out. Adrenochrome.
I think there was probably an
I feel like
the
it's
T. Adreno. Oh, it was right there. Yeah, adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is a chemical compound.
How to extract adrenochrome from children. There you
It's
go.
an ad too.
This is wild.
The dark what does that say?
Virality
of Hollywood blood
harvesting conspiracy.
No, yeah, that's why they say it's found in children's blood.
Dude, our episode's gonna get taken down like last time.
Probably.
We're talking about too many things.
Probably.
For those of you who new to our canon,
What
to our
was the
origin,
one? What was the one? Oh yeah,
We
when
talked about
when we talked Jim
Illuminati.
We
Carrey.
talked about Jim Carrey.
yeah, one of our episodes got taken
Illuminati.
down because
Yeah.
I guess we were saying too many like trigger words.
Oh yeah, Vanessa sees. That's why so many kids go missing. To
A year. Also, it's sad. So are you? Does she
People s-
agree?
I mean, people say that that's why so many kids go missing. Is that like
That's
it's the
scary.
government.
Bro, I talked about it last week's episode.
Well, no,
I saw.
that's what people say Epstein Island was about. Is that like yes, it was about the pedophilia, but it was also about the
He was
adrenochrome.
selling.
That like that's why so many that's why a lot of rich people were in it is because like some of them weren't pedophiles. They were just like they want the blood to stay young.
Patty said, "Congrats, y'all.
You're on the watch list.
Are we?
I think we are, dude. We said too many trigger words.
I don't
The
know.
government. Well, you see how it says 7 people are viewing this? One of them is an FBI agent for
Bruh.
sure.
I don't know. I feel like in
What
general,
am I gonna do? What
Yeah,
power?
what are you
I
gonna
don't
do?
have any power.
it's our power is our exposure. All the people,
Our
are gonna,
voice?
people are gonna.
Bro,
get to
if
know.
Alex Jones hasn't been killed, then I think we'll be fine. Because Alex Jones says
I
way
think-
more outlandish shit.
All right, let's run away with the thought that like the government does not like Alex Jones. Like, let's say the government is like, okay, this guy's a
Okay.
problem. I don't think they would kill him because if anything, that would make it look more like. I don't think these. I mean, maybe they're
You
evil,
think
but I
so?
don't think they're idiots.
No, he's right.
Like, let's
yeah.
say they're evil if they're like, all right, all these people believe these conspiracies. If we kill him, they're gonna make the assumption that we killed him, and he's gonna die a martyr, and everybody's gonna say, oh, he was right. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
if anybody working for like the CIA has a brain, they're probably like, nah, like it just makes them look more valid. You know?
Mhm.
Also, they
Yeah.
can't kill like everybody, otherwise it looks a little like weird, you know? Where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, how come every time somebody talks about this, they just die?
Die.
They disappear.
Like and
Almost
everybody, you know? Like
yeah. Almost seems like they're listening.
Interesting.
Dude, have you been seeing that there's been like a surge of oh my god, now we're getting super into conspiracy theories. But there's been like a surge in UFO sightings.
I don't
Really?
know.
Yeah, there really
I haven't
has.
seen that.
Bro, I know for you, like it must piss you off because you really don't believe in aliens.
It's not that I don't believe in aliens. I believe in aliens. I just don't think they come here
That
and
they're
hang
here.
out. I feel like especially with all the sightings, it's like they're like always here and they're just like, ooh, in the shadows. Like I feel like it's a discredit to like how smart they probably actually are. Like I feel like there's probably so many things people see that is like perfectly explainable. And I feel like you have to go to things that require the least amount of assumptions. And for something to be an alien, you know how many assumptions you have to make for that to be like an alien spacecraft? You have to assume not only that against all research that there's intelligent life out there, that they've managed to outpace us, that they can travel across light years and get here, that they can just kind of avoid detection, but not a little, not all of our detection. We can still kind of see them. It just seems like too much.
Mhm.
Where it's like,
Mm.
or maybe it was just this guy saw a bird, or maybe this
Mhm.
guy was like he was tripping balls and he saw something,
Mhm.
or maybe he did see something, or maybe it was like I don't know. I just feel like there's just
Mhm.
or maybe one guy saw an alien, but there's so many. I feel like that's weird.
Mhm.
You know?
No, I mean you're right because I mean the easier thing to assume is just the government too.
Yeah.
Like, if you see a
Like,
UFO,
I don't know.
unidentified, they don't even call it UFO
An
anymore.
aircraft?
UAP,
Yeah.
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Phenomena.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Most likely.
I don't know.
The
I mean,
US.
I want there to be aliens, but I feel like
Do you actually?
yeah, I feel like it'd be cool if there's aliens. But again, I don't think that they're running around here.
Mhm.
I feel like why? I don't get it. I know Joe Rogan feels strongly about it. He's
They're
always like,
studying
he's like,
us,
come on,
man.
people go out in the middle of and they look at chimps. Why wouldn't aliens come here? I just feel like I don't know. I feel like people underestimate how much smarter they'd be than us.
I feel like people underestimate how big the universe is too.
Yeah,
You could get. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if just aliens have never found us.
yeah.
See, I mean, you looked at the new Webb telescopes, dude. When I went camping recently, you can see the stars, and it really blew my mind how many there really are out there.
Vanessa C said, "Have y'all heard of the aliens are fallen angels theories?"
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't heard that. What is that?
There's some guy in the government that said that, I think, recently. And I don't know about
Wait, what is
recently,
it?
like
Wait,
a
what
week
is it?
ago,
What
where
is
he
it?
was like, he said, like, oh, they're not aliens, they're demons. And it's like, it's kind of like, all right.
Well,
And
because
so-
then it adds another layer, right?
Yeah, well, it's
Like
kind of like,
spirits.
okay, so now they're not even spacemen from like across the galaxy, they're demons
From another dimension.
yeah. Or some people also say that they're not from outer space, they're from like they're from the hollow earth. so they're like
Mm.
Atlantans or whatever. So I feel like I don't know.
And then Andy Nitos 24 said Brandon is onto something here, making me change my mind about aliens.
I don't know. I just feel like I just genuinely feel there's so many more steps that you can take before you reach aliens. Because I feel like I don't know. Don't you want aliens to be special? Like, don't you want it to be like, okay, now that might be an alien? But everybody throws it around so liberally. It's like, well,
I get you. To me, also, it's like if they're advanced enough to be able to travel light years to different galaxies, then there's not even a chance we would even be able to see them.
yeah, that's why I'm like, why is it that they're so cheeky? Why are they like, oh, because I mean, come on.
It's because
they're not-
people say
they're
they're just.
playing
It's
games
because
with
people
us.
say the thing that I've seen is that people say they're us from the future, just
Oh my
going back in
God.
time to see us.
I also think it's weird how like people who study like
Aliens?
no, like you know how people always shit on Neil deGrasse Tyson, right?
Mhm.
He's an astrophysicist. That's his job, is to look at space and look for shit like that. And he's always like, I don't think it's aliens. Everybody's always like, what does this guy know? What do you mean? What does this guy know? That's his
That's what he
job.
studied.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking, the same thing. He's a physicist. He always said, I don't think there's any intelligent life anywhere near, because if there was, we'd see signs of it. And everybody's like, well, this guy doesn't know anything.
But Elon Musk, who's a businessman, is like, I believe in aliens on Earth, and people
no,
are
he,
like,
he actually says he doesn't agree. He
oh yeah,
says-
you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He says he doesn't agree. But again, everybody, and I mean, whether you like Elon Musk or not, he has a rocket ship company. He has a privatized NASA, and he says, I don't think it's aliens. Well, what does this guy know? It's like, I mean, but this guy on the
He's
internet,
building for
you know,
this
guy on
my
the internet,
cousin's friend told me like he
he
saw an
saw it.
alien.
He swears, like, I mean,
I saw it with my own eyes, bro. Vanessa C said special. You want to kick it with them or
Or
what?
hell yeah. I
Bro,
do.
no, I get what you mean, but like, don't you want them to be special? Like, I get you, like, as in like they should. I imagine aliens are almost like gods if they're able to go that far, and I'd hope that they're a lot smarter than us in terms of our morality, right?
I just mean
Mm.
that, like, I feel like people are devaluing the word. Like
Mhm.
people like I feel like people don't realize how big of a like claim that is.
Yeah.
Like, to say, because as far as we know, all of science, everything we know as fact says we're alone right now. To jump from that to saying, oh no, we aren't,
Mhm.
is a really big jump. And that's like
Mhm.
awesome. That's like a historical. I mean, dude,
Mhm.
let's say we do ever meet aliens, first contact. You know how historical that's gonna be? I mean, the first time we met other people on another continent, that changed. I mean, we're still kind of dealing with that
Yeah.
kind of shit.
That's funny because like jumping off Vanessa's joke, it's literally you saying like, I want my first time to be special.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know. I feel like
What is
also
it?
people also say Bigfoot's an
Hmm.
alien. Have you seen that?
No, I
No.
haven't seen that
Have you ever
one.
watched Ancient Aliens?
What? Bigfoot's an alien? I feel
Bi-
like that one's the one that I imagine could have actually existed.
It's also weird because I feel like a lot of these people who like swear aliens also like swear like other stuff that I'm like, I don't know about that, dude. Like the
The
ancient,
lizard people?
like, do you remember the
Yeah.
Ancient Alien show where that guy's like with the crazy
Oh,
hair,
the
is, like,
famous
it's
meme?
aliens?
It's like aliens? Yeah.
Yeah,
What
well,
did he say?
they would always, dude. Have you ever like actually watched that show? It's like insane. They do the Bigfoot thing. They do an episode where they say that like Bigfoot and these cryptids, they could be like aliens, and Earth can be like a prison where like aliens drop in their undesirables on Earth.
I've actually heard of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I
I've
mean,
heard of that one,
again,
yeah.
I feel like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Like, no, it's probably not
Like,
what
we're
they
having
do.
a scientific theory, man. Like,
Yeah,
we're
it's like.
Patty with his Patty said, what if they're like the creatures from Nope? Hey, spoilers! It hasn't even been 10 years.
Yeah.
And then Vanessa C said, Julie, can you read it? I can't see.
It says, I don't know what they are, but I do believe they are definitely good ones and bad ones.
I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like
Well, but even that's such a like earthly concept. I mean, for all we
Should
know, they're
I-
not even like that. They could be just like they
super objective.
could. Well, I mean, dude, like, I
You
don't
can't
know.
even wrap your
can't
mind
even wrap your-
around
it's
like
like-
what it would be.
It's like saying like, imagine a color that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like
Kinda-
I don't know.
We won't know until it happens, basically.
I'm excited, bro. I'm excited.
You're
I
excited
hope
to
I
meet
live
the
to see
aliens?
it. I think it could be happening in a lifetime. Well, you know what? I don't think we can have it in our lifetime, but I think we can make some sort of like monumental discovery in our lifetime.
I don't know. I
Mm.
mean, I feel like I get like the lore and what do you call it? The like fascination of
On
like
it?
aliens, like ET
Well,
and all that
do you
shit.
Fixation.
think? Do you think it's because people are scared to know that it's just us? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I know I'm saying like the aliens are special or whatever, but I'm
Mhm.
saying that in like the scientific objective
Yeah,
reasoning where it's
yeah.
like, oh, it's proof, like we're not alone.
Mhm.
But like personally, I wouldn't want to meet them. Like hell no, dude.
Oh,
That's
like one on
like
one
personally, like
as
if
a podcast guest.
like let's yeah, like let's say they showed up like on Arrival in the movie Arrival where it's
Oh,
just
fuck.
a giant ship and they
Yeah.
just show up on Earth. I would hope
You
to
wouldn't want to
God
be
I'm not
those
around for that.
scientists?
Hell no, dude. Like I don't know. Who knows what they're gonna do? I don't know. That's so ominous too.
Bruh, Israel Fu said, so no space head?
You never know.
You think?
There's
Imagine
there's
imagine they
people-
fetishize us, bro.
There's people who say octopi are
Oh
are
yeah,
aliens
our aliens, yeah,
and water bears.
because it's rare to find things that are like similar to them in our natural world, right?
They say that about water bears too, that they came here on a
water
comet
bears are fucking
'Cause
What
they're
is
wild.
that? I don't know what
extremophiles.
those are.
You know what water bears are?
They're like these tiny like microbe things. You can't see them, but they're like everywhere. What?
What?
We
What's
got
up?
3 seconds.
Oh,
Oh, we'll
dude.
see you guys on the app. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I got it in. I got it in. That was a good one. That was a good one. I got that shit in.
Damn.
That was like the buzzer beater.
Why did
Half
why did
court.
this episode go by so fast? Feels weird.
It's because we're having a good time just talking. You know?
No, yeah, water
what was
bears.
it again? Oh, yeah,
Water bears. They're
Water bear, like legit water
Yeah,
bear?
they're
Okay.
also called
Yeah.
tardigrades, but they're like extremophiles.
Right there on the right.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So the thing that makes them really special
They
is
can
that
they can survive in space.
yeah.
So
Really?
yeah, I think they can take a bunch. They're almost like impossible to kill, right?
Yeah, they're almost basically indestructible.
But they have like really short lifespans. I think.
What makes them unique?
Yeah, it says how
that-
long?
That a lot of scientists say, and this isn't a conspiracy theory; it's an
Mhm.
actual like a scientific theory that's say that
Mhm.
that Mars that used to have life, and then maybe some of the life microbes landed on Earth that kind of affected like its evolutionary state. Not
Mm.
saying that we all came from Mars,
Mhm.
but saying that
Some animals came from
yeah,
Mars?
some
That's
animals come
interesting.
from Mars. Yeah.
See, my opinion is I think that most aliens are out there if they're probably like microbes or animals.
Mhm.
I think intelligent life is probably pretty rare.
What do you? Never mind. Never mind.
Say again. What?
I don't know. It's kind of a controversial one, but
No,
it's
say
an
it.
argument people always say. People always say, you know how people don't consider like fetuses before they have like the ability to have a mind,
Oh, as
life,
a life.
but people consider like microbes life. What do you guys think about that argument?
Well, I think when people talk about fetuses, they say it's because it can't survive without the mother. So
Mhm.
it's still an extension of the mother. And then when it
That's a
can
good point.
survive on its own, that's when it becomes alive. And when it comes to microbes, a lot of them are on their own and by
Mhm.
themselves.
Julia, as a woman,
There you go.
what do you think?
There you go.
That's all he said. It all.
Mic drop right there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like
You see, you're an extension of her, bro.
Bruh.
probably.
Joint at the hip.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm too hard on the alien people. I feel like
You think they're just
it's like I don't have anything
They're-
against them. I don't have anything against them whatsoever. I feel like if
Mhm.
if you told me tomorrow you saw an alien, I'd probably believe you. Like
Mhm.
if you were like, I swear to you, I saw like a spaceship, I'd be like, that's pretty crazy.
It's because why would I be bullshitting to you know?
Well, or like I don't know. I feel like it's just more like it just doesn't make sense to me why they'd be here.
I feel
Mm.
you. No, I feel you 100%, bro. I mean, you said it all. This it's funny that this started off from us just talking about the Queen,
Yeah.
bro. Okay, give me. Is the Queen an alien? Was the Queen?
Some
an
people
alien?
was a
say
lizard?
that.
People
She was
say
a
they're
lizard?
lizard
Do you,
people.
do, you
yeah.
remember, do you remember that where I think Post Malone talks about it on Joe Rogan where like another like some guy in the government said that aliens are in the government.
Yeah, that one I hear. People actually really believe that one.
Yeah.
That one's like a very popular like a.
Do you
Uh,
wait? Do you
conspiracy
guys
theorist
believe the
one.
lizard people one?
Fuck no. Why would there be lizard people?
I don't know. They're like
I
giant
feel like
lizards.
They
that's-
come from the Hollow Earth, dude.
Oh my god. I feel like I don't know. I don't.
But where does that come from?
I don't know. I'm telling you. I think people just want to romanticize the bad things that happen and give reasoning behind the bad things that happen.
All right, what did you think about the spiritual and dimension side? We're talking about like the natural world, but let's talk about let's talk about the magical world.
Well, like
The
what
magical
specifically? Because
okay, what do you think about spirits? Do you think spirits exist?
maybe. I mean, I'm open to the concept of it.
I
Maybe.
I think of the idea of energies, like 'cause
Yeah.
dimensions, right? Things
Yeah,
work in
sure.
in vibrations and when you send out sound waves, right?
Sure.
I
Yeah.
I imagine
Sure.
that when you're alive, because when everything exists simultaneously in different dimensions, right? That's what we learn about. Like
Yeah.
that's why when you put a spear in the second dimension, it's just a line, right? But it's still existing in the third dimension as a spear, right?
Yeah.
So right now we're currently existing in whatever is the next dimension from ours. And I imagine then there are things in this world that we see a certain way and we can't understand because we're not seeing the actual full like
You know,
presence
quick
of it.
side note is
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about like other dimensions, and he's like, I think it's also on Joe Rogan where he asks him where he comes up like, what's the most accurate depiction of it, and he says Monsters Inc. He says it would be like that, like you know how they open a door and there's
Yeah.
another thing. He
Mhm.
said it'd be like that, which is kind of cool. Monsters Inc. got fourth dimension right without even.
So it's like oh, I get it because it's like flat, but it opens up into like
Yeah,
another
it's-
plane of
yeah,
existence.
So he like it'd probably be like that.
Yeah, you see, that's what I mean. But like, so I can kind of wrap my mind and accept that maybe when people pass away or like ghosts, not maybe in the popular like the pop culture way of ghosts
Mhm.
existing, but the idea of when you die, there's an energy that's released and can maybe be felt both forwards and backwards in time
Mhm.
because of the way dimensions work, right? So I don't know if it's a conscious being coming back, like Antonito said Secret Wars.
Hmm.
I know, bro. This is the MCU. Bro, everything's turning into the multiverse.
I mean,
Bruh.
there's people who say aliens are not from outer space; they're from other dimensions, and that
Mm.
I don't know. I guess at the
bro,
end,
stop shitting on these people, bro. They're just actively living their
They're
lives.
They're gonna see these how many years from now? And they're
They
like,
care about your
"He's
cause
shitting
as
on
much.
this?"
What
They
about-
care about their own cause as much as you care about
well,
yours.
what about fairies and stuff like that? People who believe fairies and pixies.
That's myth.
What are you shitting on these people for?
My bad.
I feel like no, because
That's different. Okay,
How's it different? How's it different?
because like mine is based on scientific theory.
Technically, so are like
Fairies?
How?
I mean,
where's the
okay,
proof?
well, okay. What's the scientific theory that like aliens are based on? It's like, oh well, there's life here. There's got to be life, right?
Mm.
Well, I guess you could say for like fairies and shit, it's like, oh, it's in history books. People talk about it all the time, so clearly they saw something. It's like it's documented, you know.
No, bro. No.
Nah, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Okay, we've been going for an hour, so we can't. New rule: we can't go too much over it. But this is a really good episode, guys. I wish you could talk about it a little bit more, but go ahead, say your final piece, bros. Give one final piece.
I mean, again, I'm sure the Royals were bad. I just don't think they ate babies.
That's a good.
Okay.
That's a good saying, Julie.
Everyone stay safe out there. Just be safe, you know.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
All
if
good
you-
vibes.
If you
good
see an
energy.
alien, use like a good camera. I hate that it's always like, oh, do you see that?
And he
that
tries to
pixel?"
attack you. Use pepper spray.
Don't
Yep.
use your flip phones. Use your high quality pro
Your
cameras.
camera that can record in 4K that suddenly disappears whenever people see an alien.
And lastly, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Go out and get drunk. We'll see you guys next week, as always on Thursday. Much love.
Thank you to everyone who commented and tuned in.
Shout out to Vanessa,
Yeah.
Antonitos, Patty with the Fatty, Ezra Fu, and are we missing anyone else?
Yeah,
No,
we,
that's all.
that's
Yeah,
we appreciate the love.
Yeah.
We're always
Yes.
just messing around on here.
yeah.
Tune
I
in.
don't
Tune in next Thursday.
We actually love the Royal. Just kidding.
Bro, I thought the cameras were cut.
Bro, stop. I cut the stream already.
All right,
Okay,
yeah, we'll
see
see
you
y'all.
guys.
Bye. Oh, Vanessa C says bye. Love y'all.
And then Antonito says, Viva Mexico way. See you guys
All
next
right,
time.
see y'all. Bye.